Hey guys, welcome back to the Thought of Thoughts podcast. I am your host, Tia, and today we are going to be talking about jealousy. It's been on my mind the past couple of days, and I just felt like this would be such a great topic to talk about today. So let's just get into it, okay? Because to me, jealousy is normal. It's a normal emotion to have and to experience. And I would say that we've all been jealous of someone before. We may not want to admit it, but it's true. Whether it's something material like a person's outfit, house, car, something like that, or maybe even a person's level of intelligence, when they get a higher grade on a test than you, or even mentally and spiritually. A person could be jealous of someone's personality and how they attract others and how they light up the room, just when they walk in, from their aura and their energy, or even just how mature they are. It's many different reasons a person could be jealous of someone. Now, what does jealousy actually stem from, though? Like, what exactly is the root of it? Low self-esteem, lack of confidence, fear, insecurities. Again, normal things that we have all experienced in our lifetime before. And if you were to tell me that you've never been jealous of someone or were insecure about something, I'd think you're lying. And honestly, I wouldn't even think that you're a human being because this is just so normal. And like I said, whether we just don't want to admit it, it's still something that we know deep down we have experienced before. Growing up, I was definitely a little envious of those who had more than me, especially materialistically, or even those who appeared, and I say appeared with quotes because everything is not what it seems, those who appeared to be in a better situation financially or environmentally. But the older I got, the more I began to just not care. The more I realized life is different for everyone and everyone is doing their own thing and taking their own paths. You get to a point where you live for you and nothing else matters. Do I still experience moments where I lack confidence? Yeah. Do I still compare myself to others? A little, It's normal, but then it just goes away because you get back to your life. You get back to your own little bubble because, in all honesty, focusing most of your attention and energy into being jealous of someone, it doesn't pay your bills. Let's be real here. It doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't make sure you're fed. And it definitely doesn't make you happy in any capacity. I think, too, a lot of what we may become jealous of stems from societal pressures, trends, social media. And this is where I believe it's important to really, really practice independent thinking. Seriously. So, independent thinking is evaluating something and obtaining the certainty. I sound like a professor. Independent thinking, I would say, is evaluating something and obtaining the certainty to construct your own point of view based on your own judgment and not succumbing to the opinion or judgment of others. Does that make sense? I hope so, because this is something that I'm working on too, especially with social media. I'm always like, why can't I develop my own opinion on something before I look at the comments to see what everyone else is saying? You know what I mean? It's like, I'll read the comments to see what everyone else is saying before I sort of come to conclusion on how I really feel about something after I see everyone's input and their thoughts. And I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, for example, I'm not sure if you guys have seen on the internet or on the news that people have been vandalizing Teslas, right? Apparently, some people view Tesla owners as rich and vain and snobby. But to me, those who are vandalizing the cars That's just pure jealousy. Pure envy of thinking Tesla owners are rich, vain, and snobby. There are people who are jealous of other people's success. There are people who are jealous of others because they can't afford the new Steve Madden bag that's going viral on TikTok. There are people jealous of TikTokers with aesthetically pleasing get ready with me videos. But my question is, do you really want a Tesla? Or are they just the new it car? Whole time you hate the thought of the fact that you have to drive 45 minutes to charge it because you can't at home. I don't really know how Teslas work, but just bear with me. But whole time you hate how the car looks. So why are you jealous of it? Why are you vandalizing it? Why are you jealous of your friend who became the VP of a company and you're an art teacher? You love what you do. You absolutely love it. But you know your friend is making six figures and you're not. But if you were in her shoes, you know for a fact that you would despise each day you sat in that corporate building staring at a screen for hours. When you know, again, deep down that you thoroughly enjoy facilitating a class of creatives. That's your passion. Sure, you might not be making the six figures like your friend who's a VP is, but you love what you do. Do you really want the new viral tote bag because it's cute or because everyone else thinks it's cute? And it's a trend right now, even though no one will be talking about it after a week, And I get it. It's normal to follow trends. But I think, too, before you follow a trend, it's just really important to develop your own thought process and your own opinion on it first. I just really think these questions are so important to ask yourself when it comes to jealousy and how you view others, Do you want each morning to be aesthetically pleasing like the TikTokers when you know that's just unrealistic for you? And I get it. It's common to want what you see. It's common to want what's in front of you. As kids, we see these commercials of things and all these new toys, and we assume that we want them all. But then we get them and we realize, okay, it requires 14 different batteries, or it requires being plugged in all the time. So I just think that independent thinking not only requires creating opinions based on your own judgment, but also your own circumstances as well. I'm sure most of you guys have heard the phrase, everything that glitters isn't gold. And it's just so true. I had a friend that used to say this all the time, and it is just so true because everything that looks or seems good does not always turn out to be so. Actually, let me give you guys an example. Okay. People always romanticize traveling. Like always romanticize traveling, and oh my God, do y'all hear my stomach? I'm not even hungry. It's just gas. So I'm like so sorry for that. And it's been happening since I started recording. Yeah, I just apologize about that. Anyways, back to my example. People always romanticize traveling, right? And I was never a big traveler for many reasons, cost, fear, things like that. And even when I start traveling, I want to start with a few small travels just to sort of get the basics down, starting with states I can drive to or states that are in my time zone, simple stuff. This year, so far, I've only been to 2 states for travel. Well, I'm not going to say only because it's pretty big for me. Yeah. I've been to Atlanta and North Carolina. And just from traveling to those 2 states alone, I realized traveling is not all that it's made out to be. At all. Like, at all. Going to Atlanta was my first time being on a plane. And oh my gosh. The hustle and bustle, the rush, the commotion, the ruckus. All of that. Of course, there were parts of the trip that were great, There were definitely parts of the trip that were great, but you don't see these influencers disclosing the challenges of their travels, if any, of course. People forget their most important documents, or their luggage weighs too much, or they're too late to check in. Like, any of that is possible, and no one talks about it. No one talks about it, right? But listen, all I'm saying is you won't catch me being jealous of another influencer who travels all over the country or internationally. And I'm not against traveling and learning new things and gaining new experiences and memories, but there is so much prep to it, especially if you're someone like me who needs things to be laid out strategically right in front of you, especially for big trips. I don't like walking into something and not knowing what I'm getting into. I've also had people who were jealous of me as well. As I've said before, jealousy is normal, but at the same time, it isn't something you have to accept from anyone. Energy does not lie. Energy does not lie. Energy does not lie. I'm going to say it one more time. Energy does not lie, okay? And I think you can sort of feel when someone is jealous of you. No one, I think, would outright say they're jealous of you, or they might. I don't know. Who knows? But you can definitely feel it. I had a friend who was jealous of me, and her actions and her energy told it all. Her actions and her energy also displayed her insecurities at the time. So it was extremely clear to see. It's actually so crazy to think those close to you can actually be the most jealous of you. Friends, family, your partner. And the older you get, the more you become aware and observant and careful about the energy you decide to surround yourself with and engage in. You realize how important it is to not share certain things with certain people. Your successes, your insecurities, your fears, your joys. Because some people, not all, those who may be jealous or have their own insecurities, they begin to project. They begin to make you feel bad about your decision making and your life choices. And this is where I think it is extremely vital to remove negative individuals from your life. Now, removing people from your life isn't always going to be painless, especially if they've been in your life for a while and you've developed a close relationship with them. But again, there comes a time where you begin to prioritize yourself and your needs. And this is something that I'm still learning to exercise in my daily life as well. And it's not something that happens overnight. I'm also not saying that if you feel the energy is off, you need to cut them off immediately either. I think it's important to see if maybe your friend isn't the happiest right now because you got the job and they're still struggling to find one after 6 months. Or if it's a pattern. Now, if it's a pattern, they got to go, okay? They just have to go. If it's a one-time thing, understandable. Because someone is jealous of you for whatever reason, this does not mean you dim your light for them, ever. You don't dim your light for someone else's comfort. Hell no. It's just a hell no in my book, especially if it's something that will impact your life in a positive way. In just such a major way, because at the end of the day, no one knows how much it took you to get to where you are in life. Whether that's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, no one has walked in your shoes but you. No one has experienced those experiences that you have experienced but you, okay? So I think that's just really, really important to keep in mind. You never, ever dim your light for someone else. It's so crazy because when I'm talking to you guys like this, I'm actually talking to myself as well. And this is all things that I need to apply to my own life. And like I said, I'm working on it. Things don't happen overnight. But when I become super passionate about what I'm talking about, it's like, okay, Tia, you need to hear this too. So if I sound a little aggressive, it's because I know I need to hear it too. So I'm just hoping that I can help you guys as well as help myself. So, yes. Anyway, my friend and I were brainstorming the other day. We were brainstorming ways to establish passive income for the both of us. And she goes something along the lines of, I don't want this to feel like it's a competition or something like that. And I'm just like, of course not. If you establish the passive income idea first, I don't care. If you get more money from the idea, I don't care. If it becomes your main source of income, I don't care. I can't be upset or jealous about that. If it's in the cards for her, then it is. Maybe it's not for me. The only thing I can be upset with myself about is if I didn't work as hard as her to make that money. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I can be upset with myself about. Just the fact that if I didn't put in, as much effort and energy. But like I said before, if it's meant for me, then it is. If it's not, it's not, and vice versa. Because that's another thing in life. It's just no matter how hard you work for something, if it is not for you, it is not for you. If you have absolutely exhausted all options and all opportunities and done everything you can to get to where you want to be, where you vision yourself to be, if it's not for you, it's not for you. And the world will reveal that to you. So, but anyways, I just told her, it's definitely no competition because we're sharing ideas with one another. And it's not like we don't know each other and we're competing in the Olympics. And I know all of these secrets to being a better gymnast. No, if that's the case, I really wouldn't share any ideas. You know what I mean? But anyways, what I'm saying is a real friend is going to be happy for you regardless. And that is the energy you should want around you. All right. That is it for me today. That is it for me today. It is actually 6:30 in the morning and I'm recording with all of this energy, but I'm glad that I have it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I always, always, always thoroughly appreciate it, okay? Make sure you guys follow, listen, and subscribe on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcast. And also be sure to follow the podcast Instagram at Thread of Thoughts Pod. And we will talk soon.